Hello. My name is Jess, and I suffer from audible and visual hallucinations due to my schizophrenia. This has been something that has plagued me for my whole life, from being the laughingstock at school to dropping out of college. The voices and visuals I see are what scare me the most. I am constantly told I am a failure by my own brain. I see spiders on my hands at night, which I am deathly afraid of. However, recently something has changed, and I don't know how to explain it other than a new voice. During the really quiet times, I'll hear it. Its scratchy voice reaching out to me. This first started a few weeks ago when I was doing the dishes, like normal, in my small apartment. As I was cleaning, I had a knife nick my finger, and I pulled it out in pain to look at the damage it caused. I saw a small cut, with blood slowly dripping out from it, and that's when I heard it. That pain. Doesn't it make you feel so alive? Now, being a completely new voice, it made my skin crawl. I could feel my heart rate increase watching the blood coming out of the wound. Better cut it off. Don't want it getting infected, the voice said again. I ignored it and started humming to myself to distract from the voices. As I dipped my hand back into the water, I felt the knife again. This time, I could feel it as it made its way to my finger that had been cut. I could feel my skin begin to burn as it cut deeper into my finger. The feeling of the bone snapping from the force, and finally my finger now being nothing but a ghost limb as I saw it float to the top of the sink. Then the humming worked. I was there looking at the small cut on my finger, rejoicing of it being a normal hallucination. I finished the dishes and made my way back to my bedroom, where I put on a YouTube video to help me drift to sleep. As I did, I could hear the voice again. Jess. Soon afterwards, I was asleep, descending into my own living hell of nightmares. They were vivid retellings of how I messed up in school, my father passing from cancer, and me not being there to see him to the other side, and how I constantly forced my boyfriend to tell me something is a hallucination. I awoke at 4:27 a.m. that morning, still dark, with YouTube playing soft music with a waterfall as a background. I crawled out of bed and went to the bathroom to take my morning shower and normal routine. After I'd finished bathing, I went to the kitchen and got a bowl. I got my favorite cereal, Captain Crunch. I poured it into the bowl and added milk and began to eat as I heard the voice again. So lonely. Anything could happen. I started humming, just wishing to hear my normal voices rather than this one. I drank some milk and began walking outside to head to work. By the time I had arrived, it was still not open yet. I sat down and began to listen to music on a bench close by. Then I felt as if someone was playing with my hair. Of course, I realized no one was there, so I just started humming again. Then my normal voices started up. What's on your head? Think it's a spider? Look how scared she is. Always so terrified of something crawling around. I continued to feel the movement in my hair, however. The voices were growing more and more when suddenly they stopped. I felt the familiar vibration of my phone. I grabbed it, realizing it took me out of what was happening, and smiled when I saw the name BF, less than 3, show up on the screen, and I answered it without hesitation. Hey, thanks for calling. It's been a rough morning, I said, a smile forming. Hey, remember, everything is okay. Just remember that it's all in your head. Make sure you hum or listen to music. Are you still taking your meds? Yeah, I said, a complete lie, seeing that I had run out a few days ago, and I wouldn't get any new ones for at least a week. Mind if I come over after work? I'd love to have you over. I felt peace knowing he was coming to my place. All right. See you at 5 p.m.-ish. The phone call ended, and I just sat there. I was calm, and for the remainder of waiting for my work to open, it stayed that way. After the doors were unlocked by my boss, I went, and I clocked in. Then I heard my coworker who was behind me say, "Hey, just be calm, but you have a spider in your hair." He reached forward and pulled out a big brown spider out of my hair, which made me begin panicking. I saw it wiggling around as he put it into a cup and sat it on the table. "Aw, it's just a wolf spider," he said as a mother would say towards her child. "I don't give a fuck what it is. It's a spider and it needs to die," I shouted. Then I heard the voice again through my anger. "Just shove him back and squash it. Show the spider you are the one in control, not the short, fat kid who can't keep a clean face." I stepped towards him, my fist clenching, my thoughts agreeing with this voice finally on something. "Kevin, get out of my way," I said with a forceful demeanor. "No, Jess, I'm just gonna take this little buddy outside so he can't..." He stopped speaking when I kicked him square in the chest. He was flung back with a loud thud as he hit the ground. I then lifted the cup and brought my hand down upon the spider. Over and over and over, I hit it with my open hand. "What the fuck?" Kevin cried out. I looked at him with anger, the voice growing ever stronger in my head. "Show him your worth. Show him that he is less than a man," the voice said with disturbing glee. I took the remains of the spider in my hand and put it on his face. I could hear the carapace fully shatter from the force I pushed into him. "You ever wonder why you can't get laid? It's because you're such a fucking child. Any man would have taken care of it, but look at you. Oh, we have to save it. Fuck this thing, and fuck you." I then turned around to get some water. As I did, I felt a hand on my shoulder. I swung around angrily to see Kevin right behind me. "Hey, you okay, Jess? You've been standing there for like 5 minutes. It was then I realized that this was just another hallucination, but unlike my mild, normal ones. I remember feeling my shoe hitting his chest. I remember my hand burning from the force I slammed the table with. I simply looked at him and forced an awkward smile. "Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm good, Kevin. I just got lost in thought," I said nervously. Work went on as normal, thankfully. The routine having been a good normal to allow my brain some semblance between reality and my hallucinations. At 4 p.m., I clocked out and walked out to my apartment. It was raining, but only lightly. So as I arrived, I was slightly damp. I walked to the elevator and saw a nice old man I know as Philip holding the door for me. I rushed in and hit the 5th floor. "Thanks, Mr. Philip," I said with a smile. "Oh, no problem, dear. Gotta make sure chivalry is alive somewhere," he said back with a chuckle. The slow ride up the elevator was agonizing, with my normal voices warning me of him and how he thinks I'm a total freak. Then I heard the ding noise and stepped out of the elevator. "Have a nice evening, Miss Jessica," he said as the doors closed. I walked to my room, 505, and unlocked it. As I did, I breathed a sigh of relief. I walked to the couch and slumped down onto it, turning on the TV. I searched Netflix until I found an anime I hadn't seen yet and turned it on. I like to have it as background noise. An hour passed, and I noticed my boyfriend still hadn't showed up yet. 2 more hours passed, and still nothing. My mind began to race. Is he cheating on me? He probably found someone who isn't crazy. Look at how stupid she is, thinking someone would actually love her. The voices all started to chime in. Then I heard a knock at the door. As I walked over, I looked out the peephole and saw him, my loving boyfriend. My heart fluttered and the voices disappeared. I opened the door and gestured for him to come in. "My lady, I said sarcastically as he did so. It got a chuckle from him as he sat down on the couch. Then I saw it. Faint, but lipstick on his cheek. Hey babe, did you go see your mom or something? I asked, gauging if maybe he paid a visit to his parents. Nope, just another late night pulling overtime at work, he said, as if I couldn't see through his bullshit. Oh, well, how did you get that lipstick mark on your cheek then? I asked with a calm smile hiding my resentment. Oh, this is nothing, he said with a nervous chuckle. Oh, really? I sat down next to him, bringing my fingers up to his face. As I examined it, I could tell its brand. I had one just like it. I grit my teeth and look him in the eyes. Who is she? I ask, growing angry. No one, he said, panicking. I stood up and walked into the kitchen, trying to calm my breathing. I knew he was lying to me. I just knew it. The fact he couldn't just be open with me pissed me off even more. Well, her name is Everly. She is not a fucking nutcase like you, he said with a chuckle. Plus, she actually has nice tits unlike you. So she isn't some flat-chested freak, he said more maliciously. I walked towards him, the voice returning to my head. My rage seeped out like never before. He likes eye candy. How about you remove them? The voice said. Without hesitation, I leaped on top of him, pinning him to the couch. I took my knees and pinned his arms beneath them. I then took my thumbs and guided them to his eyes. Just remember, this flat-chested bitch was the last thing you will have ever seen. I then pressed into his eyes, feeling a sickening pop as I did so. I began moving my thumbs back and forth, seeing the blood gush out. His screams were deafening, but also music to my ears. Then he stopped screaming and yelled, "Get off me, Jess!" I then realized I was on top of him. My lipstick mark left on his cheek. I flung myself backwards, realizing what my hallucination had me do. I ran to the bathroom to throw up in the toilet as I heard his footsteps coming up. He looked at me with a caring look and embraced me in a hug. You are okay. Breathe. I am real. Remember that I am real. This is real. You are okay, he said in a caring tone. I'm scared, I mutter. Let's get you to a hospital, okay? You go pack your things, and I'll get ready. I agreed, and made my way back to my bedroom. I began packing things when I hear him from the kitchen quietly. Yeah, she needs to get a psych evaluation. Her name is Jess Fawcett. He then said my address. He then started saying, Yes, I am in fear for my life. Please send the police too. I don't think she knows what's reality anymore. I don't think she ever did in the first place. I walk into the kitchen and he hung up the phone. Is that really what you think I'm like? I asked, tears streaming down my face. Jess, yes. Remember to breathe. We've talked about this before. He kept droning on and on about how I am completely insane, how I'm a mad woman. I then realized this was another hallucination. So tired of this, I pulled a knife from the block and slashed it right across his throat, his blood squirting onto me as he fell to the floor. I watched him struggle, holding out his hand to me. A name tag was on his jacket that I didn't notice before. On it said, Caregiver, and I looked at it, confused. I leaned forward and whispered in his ear, Babe, did you get a new job? I hope you enjoyed that story. It was written by none other than our wonderful guy here at Wicked Encounters, Coots, who is currently moving basements. Moving cross-country. So he wasn't able to edit this video. So it's back to me and my less me edits. Be sure to wish Coots luck on his brand new adventure. If you like this story, don't worry, Coots loves writing, and I like getting stories from other people as well in case you feel like sharing. If you really liked it, you could always like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification, and let it know that you would like to see more of this kind of content. For those who gave it a listen, thank you so very much. And also thank you to our patrons over on Patreon. You guys are the bee's knees, especially our VIP camper. Well, with that, I'm Allie, this is Wicked Encounters, and I'll see you next time. Bye!